Hello friends, and welcome to a new video. Prior to the rise of humanity, various extraterrestrial civilizations had already been venturing across the expanse of the universe. On the world of Samaras, Mills observed his daughter Naveen play along the shore as he informed his wife Alia about his decision to take on a 2-year exploration assignment. While he typically undertook shorter journeys, this time he sought the additional income to finance Naveen's medical treatment. Afterward, Mills showed Naveen how to whistle with her hands before eventually broaching the topic of his upcoming journey with her as well. Later on, Mills served as the pilot responsible for a vessel transporting a crew in cryogenic sleep. Unexpectedly, the ship encountered a barrage of meteorite activity, sustaining multiple hits. Hastily, Mills made his way to the cockpit, transmitting an emergency signal before guiding the ship to land on the nearest planet. The vessel ultimately broke apart into 2 sections, and as Mills witnessed the inevitable crash, he thought of his daughter before losing consciousness. Upon awakening moments later, Mills was informed by the computer that they were in an unfamiliar location. He discovered a piece of metal lodged in his stomach, which he painfully removed and cauterized the wound. After donning his astronaut suit, he commenced an assessment of the ship's damage, finding that the cryo chamber had been compromised. Equipped with a laser gun for protection, Mills departed from the ship and ventured into a body of water, where a mysterious creature swam around him. He also came across the lifeless bodies of his crew and was devastated to find that none of them had survived. After completing a thorough inspection of the entire ship for damage, Mills made a startling discovery. The escape pod had landed in a different location, leaving him stranded in uncharted territory. Overwhelmed with a sense of despair, Mills contemplated taking drastic measures, but memories of Naveen prevented him from doing so. Instead, he gathered the messages Naveen had sent to him, finding solace in hearing her voice once again. Just as hope seemed lost, the computer detected a functioning capsule nearby. Upon investigation, Mills was astonished to find the passenger, Koa, still alive inside and wasted no time rescuing her. As they journeyed back to the ship, Mills stumbled upon a colossal paw print on the ground, unveiling that they had traveled back 65 million years in time to prehistoric Earth, where dinosaurs roamed. Upon their return to the ship under the cover of night, Mills found himself dreaming of Naveen, who was determined to uncover his whereabouts. The following morning, Mills was resolute in his determination to escape in order to rescue the girl. He utilized the ship's computer to search for the other half of the vessel, but the scan proved unsuccessful in locating it. Subsequently, Mills ventured outside to explore the area and stumbled upon enormous bones, indicating the perilous nature of the local predators. He was also accidentally struck by a scalding geyser blast, an unfamiliar occurrence for him. Upon regaining his composure, he spotted something glistening in the distance and realized that the other half of the ship was situated on a distant mountain. A swift scan confirmed his observation, but as Mills deliberated on the best course of action, he was suddenly ambushed by a small dinosaur. Following a struggle with the creature, Mills managed to overpower it, using his gun to fend it off until it was lifeless. More sounds emanated from the surrounding woods, prompting Mills to investigate, only to discover that Koa had left the ship. Upon catching sight of him, the girl immediately began to run, prompting Mills to take chase. Their pursuit ultimately led them both to tumble down a ledge, where they came across a large yet deceased dinosaur. Suddenly, the trees started to tremble, and Mills spotted an even larger creature approaching. In a swift response, he grabbed Koa and hastily ushered her back to the safety of the ship. As he tended to her fall-induced wound, he attempted to convey the situation, only to discover that they didn't share a common language, and the ship's translator was inoperative. In an effort to communicate, Mills sprinkled red powder on a tablet and sketched a mountain with a pod to convey the necessity of reaching it for escape. Koa, understanding the concept of family, illustrated her parents, prompting Mills to fabricate that her family was also located in the mountain to keep her calm. Subsequently, Mills dispatched another SOS message claiming to have found a survivor, while Koa uncovered Naveen's recordings. As she viewed them, it became apparent that Naveen's condition had deteriorated during the initial year of travel, resulting in her hospitalization. Initially, her messages exuded happiness and pride in her father, but over time, she grew resentful due to his absence. Catching Koa watching the tapes, Mills promptly switched them off and declared their departure. Once he had enough supplies in his bag, Mills and Koa began walking through the wilderness, making sure to keep quiet not to attract predators. It was a long and arduous journey, but every time Mills helped Koa when she fell or needed anything, they became a little closer. One afternoon, Koa saw something glowing red in the sky, but she didn't comment on it. Eventually, Koa became bored of all the walking and grabbed some berries from a bush to throw at Mills just to bother him. Annoyed, Mills used his scan to prove the berries were poisonous and ordered Koa not to mess with them. Later, a huge bug landed on Mills's neck, and when he killed it with his hand, his fingers ended up covered in a disgusting sticky substance. Mills tried to brush it off on a tree, but the thing was so strong that he fell with a piece of bark stuck to his hand, which made Koa laugh. To tease her back, Mills tried to touch her with his dirty hand, but their little game was interrupted when a small tree fell in front of them. There were some weird noises coming from behind a ledge, and the duo found a small dinosaur stuck in a pit of the sticky substance. Koa felt bad for it and ran to help it out, which Mills thought was too dangerous. Since she wouldn't listen, Mills ended up helping her to finish faster. The little creature walked away as soon as it was free, but only a few steps later, it was attacked by a group of predators that quickly killed it. Mills dragged Koa into a hiding spot so she didn't have to watch her friend being devoured, but she could tell what was going on and cried. After the dinosaurs were gone, the duo continued their journey, stopping by a waterfall to wash and fill their water bottle. Mills was worried about the state of his stomach wound, but watching Koa made him think of Naveen, and that was enough incentive to keep him going. Koa found some pretty flowers and bothered Mills until he let her put one in his hair. Minutes later, Mills's scanner lost the location of the mountain, so he decided to climb a tree for a better view and scan the area again. Suddenly, he found a bug on his hand and shook his arm to get it off, but the movement caused the branch to break, and Mills fell, dislocating his arm. While Koa helped Mills push his arm against a tree to try to put it back into place, a group of dinosaurs heard the noise and began approaching. To speed things up, Mills made Koa step on his arm for that final push, and now that he was better, he immediately grabbed the gun to shoot at the creatures. He also told Koa to run, and once she was far enough, Mills activated a few small bombs that quickly got rid of half of the dinosaurs. The survivors continued to jump on Mills, and he shot them one by one.
Later, Nichols notices Christine, or rather Claire, as she reveals her real name is, leaving the party. He follows her to her taxi and invites her to dinner, but she declines, saying, "No, I was paid to do this." However, she then suggests having coffee with him at the airport before her flight to Australia for her next assignment. So that was all for this video. If you enjoyed it, give us a like. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to be the first to see our new videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
As dusk approached, Mills decided to whistle as he used to do for Naveen in an effort to soothe Koa. The tactic succeeded, and Koa responded with her family's own whistling method, finally agreeing to press on. After a long walk, the pair reached a cave where they would spend the night. Mills set up sensors to alert them of potential threats and used his scanner to look at the sky, finally noticing that the meteorite was nearby. It was a small one though, so he didn't fret. Koa suddenly diverted his attention by revealing that she had brought one of Naveen's tapes with her. And despite initially being upset, Mills played the tape because Naveen brought comfort to both of them. While attempting to sleep, Mills was unable to banish thoughts of the day he received the news of Naveen's passing at the hospital, which brought him to tears. During the night, Mills was abruptly roused by the sensors alerting him to an impending threat. Upon checking on Koa, he discovered a bug had infiltrated her mouth, prompting him to swiftly eliminate it with a tool, causing Koa to expel the remnants with a cough. Subsequently, the sensors went haywire as a colossal dinosaur materialized outside the cave. Mills fired at it several times before he and Koa fled through a small aperture at the back of the cave. Unbeknownst to them, a smaller dinosaur was tailing them as they frantically sought an escape route. After a long period of walking through narrow passageways, the pair was disheartened to find themselves at a dead end. Mills attempted to widen a small gap between two rocks by digging, but after several hours of minimal progress, he decided to give up. When Koa noticed, she became furious and insisted on trying again, repeating the word family. Despite Mills trying to explain that they were stuck, she couldn't understand him. Realizing he lacked the proper tools, Mills had a sudden idea and used a few bombs to enlarge the hole. He then gave the remainder of the bombs to Koa for safety as she ventured through. After confirming that there was enough space on the other side, Koa crawled through the narrow opening, prompting Mills to follow her. Regrettably, the tunnel suddenly caved in, and Mills let out a desperate yell of frustration as he lost contact with Koa. In the nick of time, Mills heard the dinosaur approaching, so he swiftly grabbed his gun and made his way back to the previous cave. There, he utilized his scanner to locate the dinosaur. When the creature attempted to ambush him, Mills was prepared and started firing, but the dinosaur struck him, causing him to drop his weapon. Subsequently, the beast seized Mills and bit his arm, but he bravely fought it off until he was able to reach his scanner and activate a screeching sound that hurt the dinosaur's ears. With the animal momentarily distracted, Mills recovered his gun and shot it dead. Meanwhile, Koa managed to make it outside. Alone in the forest, she discovered a large bone that could serve as a weapon. She carefully wrapped it with poisonous berries and a broad leaf before stashing it in her bag. Meanwhile, Mills emerged from the cave and, using his scanner, realized that the supposed meteorite was just a fragment of a much larger one heading for impact, sparking a catastrophic extinction event. Rushing to find Koa, he heard her scream as a dinosaur approached her. Koa managed to hide inside a tree trunk, while Mills, in pursuit, stumbled and fell into a pit of quicksand. Despite his efforts to call out, he slowly sank until he could no longer speak. Upon hearing Mills' cries, Koa bravely waited for the dinosaur to enter the tree trunk, then hurled bombs at it before fleeing. With the creature vanquished, Koa was able to reach the quicksand and lean over a tree to assist Mills out of the pit. The pair embraced tightly upon reuniting, and then Mills briefed Koa about the meteorite in order to prepare for the final stretch of their journey. That evening, they reached the mountain's base. Mills secured a rope around Koa, and she began climbing, ingeniously fastening the rope around trees and rocks so it could bear Mills's weight as he ascended. Soon after, they discovered the other half of the ship, prompting Mills to swiftly activate the computer to confirm the impending arrival of a rescue vessel. Meanwhile, Koa searched for her family and eventually came across the destroyed cryotags, leading her to unleash her anger on Mills for his deceit. As she wept, Mills revealed a picture of Naveen and explained how he had lost his own daughter while on a previous job, expressing his determination to prevent such a tragedy from reoccurring. Koa then embraced Mills as he apologized for everything. Suddenly, fragments of meteorite began plummeting to Earth, prompting Mills and Koa to hastily make their way to the emergency pod. Just as Mills was about to initiate the launch sequence, a meteorite struck the ship, causing the pod to careen down the mountainside, rendering the duo unconscious. Upon regaining consciousness, Koa swiftly attempted to activate the launch sequence, only to be informed by the computer that it was not feasible in their current position. As Mills started to come to, a colossal dinosaur appeared and launched an assault on the pod. With the gun fallen and non-functional, Mills took a risky move to leave the pod and retrieve it, ultimately managing to repair the gun configuration while taking cover behind a fragment of the ship. As a second dinosaur joined the assault, Mills found himself surrounded, but Koa seized the Naveen tape, playing it on the scanner to manifest a hologram of Naveen outside the ship. Moved to tears at the unexpected glimpse of his daughter, Mills braced himself for what seemed like his final moments, only to realize that the dinosaurs had been duped and began attacking the hologram instead. Using the distraction to his advantage, Mills emerged and swiftly dispatched the first creature while the other attempted to push the ship toward Koa. Mills quickly joined the fray, landing precise shots until the second dinosaur was also defeated. With the creature's efforts inadvertently aligning the pod for launch, Mills prepared to return, but found himself pursued by the previously injured beast from the cave. Executing a well-devised plan, Mills maneuvered the dinosaur into the path of a scalding geyser, though the initial impact proved ineffective. In that crucial moment, Koa arrived and swiftly incapacitated the dinosaur by thrusting a prepared bone into its eye. As the creature thrashed about, it unwittingly positioned itself above another geyser, leading to its demise as it was engulfed in searing steam. Following this perilous encounter, Mills and Koa hurried back to the pod, narrowly launching into the sky just before a cataclysmic meteorite struck the Earth, marking the end of the dinosaur era. When the pod exited the atmosphere, the autopilot steered it toward the rendezvous point where a rescue vessel would be awaiting their arrival. As they journeyed homeward, Mills closed his eyes and envisioned a joyful reunion with Naveen, prompting Koa to hold his hand in comforting solidarity. That's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give us a like, and remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can be the first to see our new videos. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.